in 1998 when punk just exploded and Green Day and Blink-182 and all these are the biggest bands in the world. Now they're going to challenge themselves and do a massive departure from what they've done in their previous 2 records and put out something that I think today still stands like the test of time and maybe one of the most like ambitious and different records in a genre.
Right.
And that's probably the most sincere thing I've said about an album on this show.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about it? Where are we at here?
Not for me.
Welcome back to Show Me Yours with Jackie and Jonny, everybody.
I'm Jackie Goonew.
And I'm Jonny DeVito. We promised you new digs. We promised you new environments, new fucking looks, and new people. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our new producer. You'll remember him from the fucking Parliament record. Yeah. That episode. My goodness, Tyler Boissonnault.
What's up, guys?
Hey,
How are
buddy.
you?
Oh, man, we're doing fantastic. Much better now that you're here.
This is dope.
Right.
I'm super pumped. I was like, to be honest, like since you guys started this podcast, I was like, I want to just be like the vowel involved. It's like, oh, it's Jackie and Jonny, and sometimes Ty. But now that I'm here, I'm super happy. Yeah.
Now it's
like,
all the time, Ty. We're
Yeah,
gonna add a thing to the tape here.
Nice.
Like that.
Yeah.
This is very exciting.
Nice. Well, it's just Jiffy marker, so it's very easy to do.
We appreciate the new digs, man. We appreciate the new studio. Appreciate the work that you did on the goddamn wall.
Yeah.
Everything
went out of
is
your way to
fantastic.
vandalize your wall for
Yeah,
us.
well, I already did this, so.
Oh my goodness. Tyler's like, fuck a damage deposit, and that's why we go with you, bud.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Right, yeah.
We did not have the room to do it, and I mean, honestly, once we moved to a new space, it became tighter, it became weirder, and we felt like we needed fucking room to grow, and now the wings have spread.
Yeah, we're room to breathe.
Hell
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of room to breathe, Jackie, do you got a story for us this week?
Well, first of all, as per usual, like the video.
My fault. Let's do the business.
Subscribe, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram.
Do that.
On Facebook, on TikTok. We have a Twitter. We've tweeted once, so
So get on board with
get on
that.
the ground floor.
Definitely. That's where you want to go. And as always, we like to do this shit live. So if you do want to see us and you are in the Vancouver area, come check us out every Tuesday at King's Head Pub.
And Ty, why don't you promote all your shows?
Yeah, fuck yeah. All the comedy ring stuff. So we got like a new spot called Parts Unknown. It's just like super rad spot in like a back alley that you got to go to. It's just like kind of comedy. Then we have like some video games and stuff set up too. But we're doing shows every right now it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Sundays as well. We'll be at Calabash. We're at Calabash tonight. And we'll be doing stuff at Parts as well. The roast battle on April 13th is going to be oh my God!
Yes.
Jackie Agnew will be up for the women's title against Eden Kaminsky. It's gonna be fucking insane.
Absolutely.
I am super
Tough
matchup.
Tough matchup
For the inaugural women's title. So we're running it like a WWF 80s wrestling promotion. Yes, it was Ravi's idea.
Yeah,
but we're so down. We're super pumped about it. And the new spot's going well. And and then I'm also on this new podcast called the Show Me Yours podcast. Hey, we're on that right now.
Hey,
oh man, all right, yeah.
That was some meta shit right there.
And we'll post the links to all of those things.
Absolutely. I just got this thing called Linktree, so if you click on the links in my Instagram or whatever, then you can check out all this shit, and it's dope, and I'm going to do a Linktree for everybody.
I just found this new thing called Linktree.
Do you guys know about that?
You guys heard about Adobe Premiere?
I mean, I'm not the most technologically advanced kind of fella, so when I saw
I'm terrible.
one of those,
I'm awful.
yeah, I saw one of those just the other day, and I thought, hey, that would really help me in the things that I do, and I set it up, and it was actually pretty easy. So keep an eye out for all the links.
Maybe, set yourself up a Linktree.
Oh yeah. That's me. I'll do it for you. But anyway, now that the business is out of the way, Jackie.
Yeah, so before we get into the record today, we got a fun story.
Yes.
So a rapper was
Goonew
was embalmed and displayed at his funeral, which took place in a nightclub in D.C.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now these people are performing. The crowd is there. This is a capacity audience. And you look up at the stage. Like, do you think that there's an opening act and then they wheel him out on a hand cart? Or has this guy just been there the entire time?
I think he's just chilling. Like, it seems like he was, like, present when the guests arrived.
So awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's a straight weekend at Bernie situation. I don't know why
100%.
everyone's so... There were 3 amazing movies. Surely we gotta have one funeral in D.C.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always a don't tell mom the babysitter's dead kind of guy,
Oh,
right? I mean,
yeah, dude.
So I didn't know if that was the situation. See, that's where you kind of want to go because you want to cover up, like the unfortunate death of your babysitter. Completely different situation. What we're dealing with here are people that want to celebrate a life in one of the most fantastic ways possible.
Yeah.
His parents are there.
Yeah, so this,
Wow.
Goonew?
Genu? I don't.
Goonew.
Yeah, we'll check it. We'll check his shit out. We'll put a link.
He was shot in a parking lot. Is not a laughing matter.
No, rest in
And
peace.
then-
That's
But,
fucked up.
but Jackie, not a laughing matter, but I'm gonna laugh at it.
It's a 24-year-old kid, Jack. You have some respect.
And on Sunday, his family and friends held a celebratory event at Washington, D.C.'s Bliss nightclub.
Shout out to the club.
To Bliss.
Shout out to the club. There's a lot of clubs.
What
that
was
won't let
that
us-
room fee?
Yeah. Do you think they're getting a door deal? Like, how is this going down? Because that's awesome. There's a lot of places that don't want comedy. There's a lot of places that are just like pains in the ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get that kind of
Yeah.
show off the ground. Maybe imagine it was a club that this guy tried to perform at, and they were like, "You're not there yet, kid."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like this was
Finally,
this is the Magnum
like,
Opus.
It's like he's in Nirvana, the band, the show situation. They just have to play at the Wrigley.
Exactly. He finally did it.
Yeah.
He finally did it.
They billed it as his final show. So like I wonder if there were any people who like thought they were buying tickets to like Goonew's.
They just kept it on the wraps that he was dead.
Guys, like, I don't have social media, man. Like, I don't follow the news and shit like that. Or if they were like, okay, guys, time for your headliner. Now, a little bit of a bummer. He was shot in a parking lot last night. We assume in a violent robbery.
His embalmed corpse was propped upright.
Oh my
and
God, they're not being delicate in this article at all.
display during the event, adorned with a crown and designer clothing. I mean, at least he was looking fly.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to set your man up in a fucking potato sack, right? Like, you got to do it right if you're going to do it.
When
But
people
did they say-
people poured one out for their homies, did they pour it like on him?
would it be like an embalming fluid situation? When somebody's embalmed, can you poke that guy and he'd leak?
That's what I was just gonna say. Do they smell embalmed? Like,
I'd imagine that there's a
it-
chemical smell to an
Yeah.
embalming, like absolutely.
There must be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like when they walk in the fucking club and it smells like.
But your
fucking-
other option is rotting flesh. It's like, yeah, I'll take a little bit of
Keep
that
it on
bleach.
ice.
See that's why we got Ty. Ty's here to be the voice of reason. I guess if you're gonna go,
It just
one or the
becomes
other.
such a downer podcast. Like, well, guys, that couldn't happen. This guy fucking
What?
sucks.
We need to stay grounded, Ty.
You think they're gonna bring out his rotting corpse? Of course, they had to embalm him if he was gonna be propped upright.
Well,
for
I
the
mean, either
entire
way,
event.
there's a ticking clock to this because as soon as
That's gonna be what's the timeline?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as this guy dies, you have to get that off within the couple days, right? Like, because I
Yeah.
mean, even like have you ever been to an open casket funeral?
No.
Ty, you?
No, I actually haven't. No.
I would love to check one out. If anybody's got tickets, you know what I mean? I'm always in the
On
neighborhood.
market for one.
For sure, right? You know, just like, I mean, I've seen a dead body before, but like I didn't know it was a dead body. I was like, oh, this is like, this bum is just like a wino, just kind of like,
Right.
like just passed out on the street or whatever. And I kick his shoe when we're walking by or whatever. I was like, wake up, bud. And then we went and we smoked weed on a picnic table, maybe like 30 feet away from where this guy was lying.
Yeah.
And then during the course of that joint, an ambulance came to put him in a bag and got him out of there.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my friends were like, "You kicked that guy," and I was like, "I fucking nudged him with my foot."
You
It was
disrespected the body.
I kicked the bottom of I kicked the sole of an Adidas, man. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I mean, I don't know, dude. You didn't even offer his family. You're like, listen, I feel bad about what I did. Here's what I'm gonna offer. What if we had bombed him and had a big party at the park he
Great.
loved to hang out at?
Yeah, this great club called Bliss.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jubilee Park off
Yeah.
Bay Avenue and Trail.
Now there is a bit of a smell.
Trust me, it's better than the alternative.
I wonder if so now in a capitalist society, we're definitely going to get more into this as the episode continues. But in a capitalist society, you have people that are willing to embalm somebody, and I believe in the like traditional aspect, if you're working at a funeral home and stuff like that, they're not just going to let you, like, they're not just going to fill your homie up and let you just take the guy. You know what I mean, right? So you have to find a place that is willing to do this kind of
and give you the body back.
Yeah, let's say untraditional kind of send off. You know what I mean, right? And then I wonder, is this a bidding war situation, or is there only one place that's willing to take this kind of job on, right? Like this, there's more layers to this that I want to know, and I think it starts with that funeral home, because who is the guy
who gave the okay?
100%. Like it's
oh no, props to the embalmer, right? He's like, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
it's a job.
Yes, it can be done.
This is an episode of 24. Ding. The ticket.
For sure.
My fucking God.
Goonew will have his final show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If that is like a Detroit Rock City kind of like, you know what I mean, one of those movies, like we're going to get him to the Greek kind of shit. That would be so fucking awesome. But like, shout out to, I guess, like the funeral home for being willing to do this, but kind of fuck his friends.
Right?
Do you know what I mean? How fucking, is this like an opportunist, like last cash grab kind of thing? Is he the fucking?
Well, I don't know if they were
and
like
who's
charging
taking this cash in?
admission.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was a.
Oh, it wasn't a show? Oh,
I don't think.
more
I
of a
think
funeral
maybe It was
situation.
probably more of a funeral situation, but there was a rapper in attendance named Black Fortune.
Okay.
And he confirmed that this
That was
body-
fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it was Gnew's actual body and no wax figure. He added, as long as his mother is happy, that's all that matters.
Oh, that's so nice.
Shout out to Goonew's mom, who's just like, I'm going to send my baby off the right way, the way that he would want to do it, because my mom was not playing that shit.
Yeah.
My mom is going to probably, like, if that was the situation, God forbid, it would probably be in a fucking like a funeral home situation.
Yeah.
It will be traditional, I promise you.
My family's doing the complete opposite. Like, oh, we're burning you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Then
Exactly.
throwing you
Dude, is
away.
it going to be a Viking funeral?
Yeah.
They blow into a seashell. Woo.
No, I don't get a boat. That's not. It sounds like that. No. They're just gonna burn.
They're in this house, in this room. They're just gonna be like-
Just leave you in a pile on the floor,
Yeah.
fucking vacuum it up.
Yeah, there will be wind.
Yeah, like, your mom walks away, like she,
beautiful in its own way.
your mom does the Jason Bourne and just like takes a newspaper and folds it up and puts it in the toaster, puts it down and turns the gas on and just
Yeah.
walks away. By the time she gets in the car, your house is exploded.
Yeah.
That's gangster.
That is a good move.
Here's a fun twist.
Okay.
I didn't actually read this far in the article. In a statement issued on Monday, Bliss nightclub said it was never made aware that Goonew's embalmed body would be on display during their event.
Wow.
Whoa. What the fuck is that? Who's the first one that noticed it? Is it like a...
Says Bliss was contacted by a local funeral home to rent out our venue for Goonew's homegoing celebration. So the funeral home organized this?
Damn.
This just got so much better.
So someone at the club just like, wait.
Wait,
The servers in the back are like, is that
His
is that a
mom up
fucking
there
dead
with
body over there? Yeah. I've been offering that guy hors d'oeuvres all night.
Nothing. I thought he was an asshole.
Oh, that fucking asshole?
Yeah, I thought he was an asshole. Just say no, thank you. Just say no, thank you.
The fucker won't even look at me.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Keep staring at my ass.
That explains the bullet wound in his forehead.
I mean, when he walked in, I was like, bold fashion choice. Let's see.
Yeah.
Crown? You're wearing a crown to someone else's funeral?
Yeah.
The fucking nerve of this guy, you know what I mean? Showing up to a wedding in white, right? He's just going to make it all about you, man. I mean, if you're gonna send off the homie, like this was if it's his wishes. I've had friends, like, we've had the conversation. Ty, let me ask you a question, okay? You find me in my home, with the belt around my neck and my pants down to my ankles. And you're like, well, that's unfortunate. And I've died in an autoerotic asphyxiation thing. Always have a spotter, ladies and gentlemen, for all our flashers out there. If you're going to do anything weird like that, have a spotter. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Now, nobody's spotting me, right? And you come over, and I'm hanging there. Now, do you tuck your boy in so that, maybe my family doesn't have the shame of knowing that I went out in such a kinky way? Or do you let me live my truth?
I would assess your penis first.
It's not impressive
Johnny,
at all.
Okay. I was going to say, but if you got a hog on you,
We're
letting the world know.
Dude, that's the best answer that anybody's ever given.
Yeah,
You're a
for
true
sure.
friend.
For
You're
sure.
like, whoa, he's packing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think a bigger dick on like a big dude is kind of like expected. So I think it's pretty cool for me to have like a really small penis. Maybe the world would have to know about that. To be like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Exactly. This kid's just been tall and confident and cool for years. We had him pegged for a big dick guy the whole time. But in like a Chris Gaskin situation on a little dude where it's like a tripod or something like that, you're like, God damn, man. Like, let's show it up. Okay, so that's fascinating, right? Yeah. So, you kind of you want to honor your friend in the way that, they live their life, right?
Yeah.
And if this kid just loved that club,
Yeah, he loved Bliss.
he was in the clear.
He was in the clear.
Right? And I mean, when you're in the clear with your shirt off, right? You're just doing your thing.
You can't flirt in the clear.
And then you see his Guy Lafleur, and it's like, hey, this is going off the fucking rails. But what is important here is that we have like a new precedent has been set for rappers' funerals.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And I want to see I want to see like where it goes from there, because like imagine if this becomes the norm, right?
Yeah.
Spike Lee, God forbid, dies, but then he shows up courtside to a Knicks game.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
No, there's no way the owner of the Knicks lets him in the game. That dude hates black people at the Knicks game. He's the worst. Yeah, dude.
If you think, do you know that there's like there's like a conspiracy or maybe just a theory or whatever that it's like the curse of Spike Lee? As long as Spike Lee's going to be alive and a Knicks fan, the Knicks are never going to win a title. That's a bummer. I mean, it's a little bit out of left field.
I thought he gave up on the Knicks though. I thought he was just like because of the owner. Like the owner, like they stopped like Ukeme Mutombo or something. Like somebody fucking going in the to the stadium. They told it was like
Madison
some racial
Square Garden.
Yeah,
What?
it was some like racial profiling shit. They've done it to like a couple like veteran players of the Knicks. Yeah, it's like I won you championship.
Kareem Abdul, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
for
That's
real.
insane.
Yeah, that kind of shit. Yeah,
That is
Crazy.
fucking nuts. Flashers,
I
hold
think
on to
he
that
might be
because
a-
we're
I
going to come
think-
back to that story next week.
I think he might be a Brooklyn Knicks fan now.
No shit,
Yeah.
hey? Oh, how the times are changing, right? Well, I mean, he's a Brooklyn dude or whatever, the Brooklyn Dodgers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to New York sports.
Yeah. Do we like the embalmed body more than the hologram?
I feel like they'd cost the same.
You still have to get a guy.
Yeah.
You still
All right,
have
you
to
got
pay the
one
guy.
option or the other, right? Hologram, pretty cool, right? New, right? A little glitchy,
Yeah.
right? Are we stuffy full of fluid? A little smelly,
Yeah.
a lot more lifelike.
You know what I mean? Because you get that thing, right? Like, that's the whole thing. At Tupac's funeral, do you want to hear a verse? Right?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing is how good of a rapper is this kid?
Oh,
You know what I
if
mean?
they just start like,
Dude, a marionette of this fucking guy.
what do we have here now? Do you want to run? That's not good. That's not good. That's a hologram. If you're singing, you hologram.
Yes, yes.
Okay, but
Yeah,
if you're just
but you can't combine.
no, but if you're just
Totally.
chilling, stuff that body full of
I
fluid.
feel
if
like
you
that
want
could
an
be-
animated.
Yeah.
An animated thing.
I feel like if that's like if the funeral home is willing to do that kind of shit, then that might be option C. That'd be
I
like,
mean, if
for the really
marionette
weird guy, it'd
is
be
an
like, yeah. Totally.
Get to the funeral home and it's just like cremate, embalm.
they've been posted like it's a barber shop.
Exactly. Shape up, shave, it's a cut, whatever you're gonna do.
Marionette.
when you see Marionette, you're like, what the fuck? It's like, well, it's not a very popular one, but like we do it with everybody's grandma before we set up the thing. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Jeff's really good.
The makeup is they just draw 2 lines right here.
But then with Marionette also comes with the person that has to. Like,
You need a puppeteer, yeah, of course.
You need a puppeteer. And honestly, for like really good marionettes are done with 2 puppeteers per puppet. Right, so you can actually have one guy kind of like work in the back and or whatever, right? Depending on how intricate you want the movements to be.
Well, then it becomes the puppeteers have to be quite a bit bigger than the puppet, because otherwise they'll be like slumped over.
Well, yeah, but you have to
like
be like
legs
up
dragging.
above, right? You're usually, you know what I mean, in
But
the.
I'm imagining in this. Yeah, I guess they could like stand on a chair.
Totally.
Never mind. I was imagining them like walking around.
Check, they're embalming and marionetting dead people. They can figure out how to get elevated 5 or 6 feet. Like, that's not the issue here.
Okay.
What is the issue here is that this is a music podcast. And we fuck with transitions, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about one of my favorite albums. It's a very ambitious record for a hardcore punk band. It is Refused, The Shape of Punk to Come, a chimerical abomination in 12 blasts. But I mean, let's just call it The Shape of Punk to Come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know about the last part. Wow.
Yeah. It's right there. It's pretty cool. But that's just like on some nerd level shit to me. Like, this is an album that is as a young kid that doesn't necessarily understand the world or society that I live in, and I think that the way that the system is set up, and like the rat race, the way that the world is kind of set up, that you get out of school, get your job, go, continue to work for, somebody else or whatever, and continue to like to feed into the system, has always felt ridiculous to me. And in 1998, a Swedish band, some humble fellas from the land of the Swedes put out this fucking album on Burning Heart Records, and I found it probably in like 2002. There's a song on here called Liberation Frequency that I heard on a Punkorama compilation, and it's so different from everything else in the genre. And I think that what they did with this was kind of like challenge what the views and like what like punk rock really is, because if you are supposed to be anti-establishment, how can that be in 1998 when punk just exploded and Green Day and Blink-182 and all these are the biggest bands in the world? Now they're going to challenge themselves and do a massive departure from what they've done in their previous 2 records and put out something that I think today still stands like the test of time and maybe one of the most like ambitious and different records in a genre.
Right.
And that's probably the most sincere thing I've said about an album on this show.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about it? Where are we at here?
Not for me.
Bitch. Ooh. Clip that.
Yeah.
No, it was just I listened to it hungover this morning, and it was a lot for first thing in the morning. So I think that skewed my my intake.
Do you remember the other day when you had headphones on and I was like blasting this?
Yeah, I remember hearing parts of it and also thinking, woof.
Yeah. This is going to be a lot.
Yeah.
I've done a whole lot on this show to kind of like bring you into like the fold or whatever. Like not like punk is easy. It's an easy umbrella to get into because definitely like from pop punk sides and ska and you know what I mean. There's a lot of like kind of fun dance stuff, right? So hardcore is going to be like a little interesting, and especially with this one when you have like post-hardcore and like weird kind of this is definitely a journey, and this morning was rough for both of us. But when I came out of the bathroom and I saw you listening to this, the look on your face, like this is gonna be a different thing. But Ty, now that we have Ty here, a musician and somebody with you know what I mean, maybe a different take on us, I'm very curious to see what you think.
Hated it. No, I'm kidding.
Fuck.
Fucking no. Here's the deal. So like, 98, right?
Yes.
So I was definitely not. I wasn't really listening to punk yet, and like it was a while since I like really got into like hardcore music. But I remember hearing about this album, like when it came out, of like it was such a fuck you album,
definitely,
to the hardcore like world. It was such a departure, even though like, man, count on the fucking Swedes to do it. I love when like some kind of Americanized sort of music or whatever like that, or even like UK branches out to other places, like like Japan's always had a cool spin on like rockabilly or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And like And the Swedes have always had a great like there's metal, like their whole thing with metal has been fantastic, but the punk scene as well. This was such a fuck you record. They started dressing like totally differently, right? Like it was
wearing,
just
like,
such
like,
a
kind of
different sounding.
Yeah,
it was so well. It's so much more polished, kind of than like a traditional kind of hardcore
for sure
record. But it was
with
like
a lot of elements
really
and almost like overproduced in a sense. It was like recorded on 2-inch. Like they did everything that they could, but then like when you add to make it, I think it's like classic or there's like all like the rock and roll elements. I think were done as old school as you could or whatever. But then once you layer on, you know what I mean, a lot of the other shit that's happening on this album, it's far away from fucking Minor Threat as it gets.
Even the name of it, like the shape of punk rock to come, is like that's that's a reference to like is it Ornette? Yeah, Ornette Coleman. That's like an old jazz record, which is like so. Even that is just like a punk record that has a reference to a jazz record.
Totally.
Like that's some different shit. Like
Definitely.
you know what I mean? Like and people,
it's a statement for sure.
And people fucking, I think a lot of their fans hated it when it came out.
Oh yeah,
they were like, "What the fuck?" It's like when Dylan goes electric.
Yeah, totally.
Right with the band,
totally.
and they're like, "Who is this Robbie Robertson? Go fuck yourself!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, get your acoustic guitar out and sing "fucking Tambourine Man." God damn it! Right? Yeah, and like. I think the punk community, especially at that time too, was so because there was all these subgenres. Like hardcore had to be fucking hardcore.
Oh yeah,
and this had to be this. And there, you couldn't really mix back then.
Definitely,
it felt like.
Yeah, that was definitely like the vibe that I got. It's one of those situations where I just kind of wish I was like older, or kind of like got to see what it was, because I was like being a young kid and finding it. You're like this is fucking like this is a statement or like a defining record for me as a young kid, right? So. To see like where the shift would have happened or the divide, you know what I mean? To say maybe fuck this record and then kind of at some point, you know, you have to kind of give it up to it or whatever. Like it does stand the test of time, or it has, right? Which is, I mean, I think kind of fucking like fascinating. But now I think it's a little bit easier to blend and different shit is going. We went past a line for the Tyler the Creator concert. And you could not fucking tell who was going to that show.
Yeah, they were lined up like it was at the P&E, and so we were driving down Renfrew, and they were lined up for fucking blocks, and we were trying to figure out what it was, but there were so many different types of people there, and Jonny was like, I think it's like an all ages gay event.
He's like, can we go line up? Like,
it was like, babe, let me out. So I rolled down the window and I asked what they were doing, and they said Tyler the Creator, and it was fucking, you know what I mean, it was cool to see. It was I mean, from like 19 all the way to, you know what I mean, 30 or whatever, and everybody rocking. And at the you know what I mean, at the Warped Tour when I was a kid was like definitely not the case, and it was so even I think like different then, because there was like the crust punks kind of looked down at like the skateboard kids or whatever.
Oh
was,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Right? There was even like kind of like weird divides or whatever in like kind of how you dress, and that was like stupid because that was like against the whole message of the music and shit like that. But you can't help when you're a fucking kid, right? You just don't get caught up in that bullshit. But it still, you could kind of see it reflected at the very front of the stage of whatever band, you know what I mean, is there. They're definitely catering to that particular audience, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So for a band like this to kind of like alienate that audience is fucking huge. It's like it's propaganda kind of fucking like in the lyrics being like, you know, you guys are the problem, fuck you. Like,
it's
like,
wild.
I'm your fan, man. What the fuck are you?
It's wild to be like, oh, we'll gain a whole bunch of new fans. Also, we're gonna lose a bunch of fans, kind of thing, right? And I think that was. I mean, they broke up like months after this record came out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which is
didn't
like wow.
release another album until 2017.
God damn.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
In fucking incredible. You know what I mean? And I think if that was gonna be like, if you get into music to I think it with like a devotion for like a certain style, I think hardcore is definitely one of those things where these people like are so devoted to the lifestyle and the message behind it and all of that, right? It's a little bit more than just you know, like kind of like the 3-chord, like, you know, just heavy distorted rock and roll or whatever that it is when you break it down. But it's interesting to see bands like H2O or Agnostic Front or the Cro-Mags or whoever the fuck, you know what I mean, their fan base is so incredibly loyal, but when they put out a new album and stuff like that, I kind of know what's going to happen, you know what I mean? I do enjoy a band that's going to kind of stay in the pocket and do what I love. So I love Bad Religion and Pennywise for all that kind of stuff, right? But you're for a band to have the fucking balls you know what I mean, to do something different, right? It's you're challenging, you know what I mean, the fucking like the scene that you come from and the scene that, you know, puts you on the fucking map, that gave you, you know what I mean, the opportunity to tour the world and blah, 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 and be in a studio to make this fucking third record. And you're like, let's fucking change gears on them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Incredible. But as much as I can, you know what I mean, praise it all day, right? There is some interesting kind of shit about it. Right. That I do want to bring up. So I do have a question for you guys. In 2004, they remastered this record. And when the remaster happens for an ambitious album like this, if like, Ty, do you know when, has there ever been a situation where you love a piece of music and then a new version of it comes out and they fucked with it?
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
That is such a piss off, because there's a remastered version of this that there's songs that are 4-minute songs that are now 7 minutes, different intros and outros and shit like that, and it fucks with my head so much. So like, where do you guys think that like when an artist gives art to the public, when is it not theirs anymore? Do you know what I mean? Or do you still have like, can you still do what you want? Because I think with film too, like with directors going back and changing, you know what I mean, films like Lucas and Steven Spielberg or whatever, talking about going back and changing old cuts
like
and stuff.
director's cuts and stuff. I feel like it's different with movies, because lots of times director's cuts and stuff is just like adding more shit to the story, whereas like with music, sometimes it can like change the fucking song completely,
and the feel and the tone of the album, or whatever, especially if you love it so much and you know like the first chord that's gonna end this song and the first one that's gonna ring out on the next one, and that's kind of like, you know what I mean, especially if you love like an entire album as a piece of art.
But that
when that kind of happens, it drives me nuts.
It's also like, as an artist, I think it's like always there, like even as a fan, if you don't want them to fuck with it, it's still like their piece of art. It's like I mean, it's not the same at all, but it's like if someone heard you do a joke, and then, you know, as the years, months, weeks go on, whatever, that joke changes, and they're like, well, fuck you, I liked that joke before.
That's really interesting in the sense of a joke, because it has to. Or like if you do want to like tweak with, like, you know, work on something, then I mean, you're always looking for the bigger laugh or whatever, right? But have you ever gotten tired of, I've gotten tired of shit. Like, I fucking do it all the time. I'll get tired of something and just completely change the way, you know, that you tell it or whatever. Just, you know, kind of trying to do something. But I guess with stand-up it's different, because that's my shit. That's my fucking story. You know what I mean? And I guess with like, I bet they probably feel the same ownership to that thing as well, right?
Yeah, it's not like they're taking away the previous thing. Like, you can still listen to the version that you like.
1998. Check it out. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm trying to wonder like if maybe even that version was like the version that I kind of first heard. It probably wasn't until a bit later on when I like discovered some of these kind of things, punk rock. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd be interested to see.
Ooh, yeah,
right?
We should check it out.
It's like it's like when people are like, oh man, like Nirvana Unplugged, when they're like, oh man, like that's a really good. Or I can't believe David Bowie covers Nirvana. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? He says at the beginning of the song.
Exactly. This is the David Bowie song. I mean, the ownership that like a young fan kind of takes with a piece of art is hilarious, because you do kind of feel like, well, I guess I'm fucking turning 32 next month, and I still kind of, you know, you
like,
feel
why
that.
Would you mess with the thing that I like?
Wait, John, we've been over this. When is your birthday?
May 21st.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
6.
Ooh,
Yeah. Oh, baby, here we go.
Month, baby.
We're old. Back in my day, punk rock records didn't get remastered. We listened to the original. We sewed our own patches on our coats.
I was asking Jackie to sew a patch on my coat. I'm like, oh, this is where my
fingers are broken.
I can't even kickflip anymore. This is bullshit.
I can't even kickflip anymore. Whatever, dude. You can pop shove. You're good.
I got it.
Always back to the pop
shove. Always back to the shove.
We even see it like now. Musicians will release a song and then they'll put out like a like mini album or whatever. That's that song, and then like fucking 5 remixes of that song.
Yeah, that's definitely like more popular. Like within the hip hop world and shit like that. It's like that's just what happens. It's wild.
Yeah.
So you don't really know.
I think and I'm very excited to you know, when it's done in a way that, you know, that I like. right? Like especially with like a New York boom bap kind of like hip hop or like you know like West Coast sound or something like that. When there's a sample or a scratch from if they're scratching lyrics from a rapper that I love on the hooks, and I love all of that shit. So like as soon as you can, you know, mash up as much as you kind of want to make something new is the, you know what I mean? It's that's kind of fucking what like art should be about, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I'm so passionate about genre of music that is so fucking hell bent on taking this or
it's interesting because it's like I don't know. I feel like with something with comedy where it's like you're constantly working and like progressing it or whatever. And there is a time I guess you just put it to bed. I don't know. I'm too fucking new at it to really get there.
For sure.
Like, I'll tell jokes from fucking age. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But like with music, it's like I don't know if I would want to go back and work on something because I'm like I'm so done with it. Like by the time I'm like done the whole fucking process, it's like I don't want to hear this goddamn song ever again. So, but I don't know. Maybe it's like, you know, whatever. 30 years down the road, you actually want to go back and like add some shit. And you're like, oh yeah, I was wanted a harmonica there. God damn it, I was learning harmonica and I'm gonna put it in.
That would be hilarious if
cowbell.
Eddie Murphy comes back on the most anticipated fucking stand-up tour ever, and he just does Delirious, but a little different.
Does it the exact same?
Yeah. He just adds more homophobic slurs.
He's wearing the same fucking suit, like bursting out of it.
It just doesn't fit anymore.
Give the people what they want, Eddie. Give the people what they want. Oh man. All right, so the next place that I want to go with this is how much can you hold yourself accountable to the lyrics and to kind of the philosophy that you know that you upheld maybe, let's say, a long time ago, right? I implore everybody to buy this album and fucking pull out the liner notes of it because there's like anti-capitalist manifestos in here that will fucking, you know, help you on your, you know, journey to, you know, destroying the system.
It's the perfect like 16-year-old shit to be reading.
100%. Like 100%. It's so funny.
It's
you really do, but in something that I felt was right, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like it was like radical in any negative way, you know what I mean? It's literally kind of just highlighting the fact that the system is fucking stupid, and at the end of your you know, day where you fucking toil for, you know, making pennies while, you know, for your boss who's making dollars, by the time that you come home, you're so fucking drained of all your creativity and you're like, you know what I mean, your life force, right? Like that's that when I'm reading that as a kid, I'm like, man, I hate school, but like, you know what I mean? And, but you know, you can feel a sense of that. And then as you grow up and you're just like, wait a minute, like I'm going to be working forever, right? And that whole thing like has like, I don't know if this is something that kind of sparked that flame or if it was something that was kind of like always in me, but you can't help but raise an eyebrow at it when that is the entire driving force of this album, the message, the philosophy behind it. But when the biggest hit off this album is a song called New Noise that is featured on countless video games, movies, commercials. There's a fucking guy from the Milwaukee Brewers that was closeout pitcher. Fucking you
fuck the Brewers, man. The Cubs just whooped them a whole bunch.
Oh yeah. Eat shit, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You know, so that
Milwaukee.
Yeah, well, I guess if that guy's, it might just be a song that guy likes, and obviously he just like chose it to go out. But it definitely that song exists in pop culture, right?
Well,
when you say
for
like
use in like commercials and stuff, like
for
you
sure
have to give the go ahead for that. Yeah.
There is a quote in here: "There's punk and hardcore cannot be anti-establishment when the revolutionary lyrics and sounds become mainstream." That is literally written in this record sleeve.
That's 98.
Yeah, I know, right? But you know what I mean. But it is fantastic, right? Like, how long do you it's either you die a hero or you see yourself become a villain, right? Like, where is the point where you can feed your family and understand that you're like, wait a minute, I made a piece of music that people love and shit like that, and I can live off of that. You know what I mean? Or is it a fuck you situation where like the Rolling Stone wants to put Minor Threat like an album they want the cover to be Minor Threat and they want to do like a giant story on them. Ian MacKaye says, can you do that issue without alcohol or tobacco ads in it? And the Rolling Stone says, well, no. And then Ian MacKaye says, well, get fucked. You know what I mean? So some people like do, you know, hold that, you know, that is, and, you know, oddly enough kind of created the fucking like the hardcore, you know, genre or whatever, the ethos behind it. You know what I mean? Some people won't bend and some people, you know what I mean, definitely kind of will, right? I'm personally going to say this right now to all the flashers. I will sell out today.
Take that money.
I am
Take that
fucking
money.
for
Take
sale.
that money.
Exactly.
Let's secure the bag, baby. Me and right. My mom's been working her ass off, man. If I could put her out I would do cool shit with it.
I think that's the thing, though, and it's not even like the fault of people who like sell out or whatever. Is that money like is super fucking important in life, and
100%.
it becomes increasingly more so every fucking year. And so once money becomes involved, it's really hard to fucking stand in your fucking morals or whatever when you have the chance to have a lot more money and a lot more opportunity. And so I feel like it's obviously common for people to sell out or whatever, but it's not even your fault you're doing so. It's because we live in this world where we have no choice but to fucking bend to whatever is going to give us a better life for ourselves and like our families or whatever it may be.
And if that could be done with a piece of your art that could be continued to feed, you know what I mean, you and like the 4 fucking people and the 4 families that are involved in that.
But at the end of the day, like
for sure,
it was always crazy to me when people were like, "Yeah, you can't like, you know, if you made money doing something that you really like doing." And I was like, "Well, that's considered around that period that was selling out
100%,
100%." But then it kind of did transfer a little bit where it's like, well, what's more selling out? Me like working my ass off at my art to make money, right? And even if it's like some of it comes from whatever, some fucking tobacco, and I can use that money to donate or whatever, use it for good.
Absolutely.
Cool. And then, or what is selling out? That or working some fucking job I hate in a cubicle. And it's like, I have
contributing
to
to that corporation.
absolutely just fucking hate what you do to get the money. Like that's ridiculous too, right? That's so stupid.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it's so weird that we like so often like villainize people who find a way to make like a lot of money through their art, whether it be doing fucking Bruce Springsteen doing car commercials, whatever it may be.
You let the boss do his fucking thing.
The boss tells you what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so why
Alicia Keys does whatever the fuck Alicia Keys wants.
Right. That's right.
That's fucking right.
Yeah.
Fucking right.
But yeah, it's just like I don't know why it's so like demonized.
Yeah.
When like that's like the dream is to be able to take your art and make money through it and then make that money into more money and, you know, take every fucking opportunity.
Well, I think it's really easy to to take that stance and hold, yourself that accountable for every financial decision, every choice that you make, blah, 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 right? To do everything ethically. It's really easy to do that from your parents' bed, you know what I mean? From your bedroom at your parents' house or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Once you kind of grow up, I think it's funny because my moral, the intentions are good, right? But if I could just fucking listen to myself spouting this bullshit at 23 or whatever, because that might be a situation for these guys too. It's like, I made that shit in 98, man.
Dude, that's the thing. These motherfuckers are like 20, young 20s, like, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're
100%
moron.
Yes.
What the hell do you know?
Incredibly talented artist and capable of making some fantastic music. But you know what I mean? And
I don't need money, man.
Yeah, like when you don't have to fucking pay
Let's
rent,
see.
you don't have like huge costs of living. Like I
see what happens when
You're a
back
dirty,
is-
crusty punk. You don't fucking,
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's like I talk openly about how I would like to sell photos of my feet and perhaps record fuck videos and sell those for money. And
Flashers, hit us up.
And I don't know if me at 18 would have been singing the same tune.
You were off your way to you're on your way to university.
Yeah.
Not jaded at all. Oh my goodness, the world was gonna hit you and has it ever. Oh man, yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I would never judge somebody for paying the fucking rent off doing what they love.
Yeah,
my goodness,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Could you imagine?
Yeah, it must be nice.
Right? Yeah, that was all the questions that I had prepared on this thing. What do you guys think? Ty, do we get your thoughts? You said you hated it.
No. Yeah, no. I actually do. I do quite like this record.
Nice.
And I think it's part of why I do like it so much because I know that it has this whole kind of stigma around, or like not necessarily stigma, but like it was a pretty controversial record within the hardcore and like punk world, which sometimes I don't think people think about. Like you hear about all this drama within like rock and country and all this shit, right? And it's like so you just, it's cool that those stories are becoming like our stories now, like of like you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because we hear like our uncles and shit like that talk about like, oh yeah, Waylon Jennings fucking did this or got in a
Yeah,
fight
yeah.
with fucking
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
right? And it's like, oh, ours is like, oh, the Refused came out with this fucking
Yeah.
crazy ass album that was like totally against everything at the time.
Yeah, 100%. Middle
Yeah.
fingers to fucking everybody, and you know what I mean. And I respect the fuck out of them for doing it, and it'll give me the fucking, you know what I mean, the courage to tell somebody to go fuck themselves one day too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As long as you're being, I think obviously it's an important piece of artwork. Whether or not I will be listening to it again in the future remains to be seen.
Babe, we
But-
live
but
together,
no,
and
it's
I
not that I
guarantee
don't-
you will be listening
Yeah,
to this
yeah,
again in the
yes, I
future.
will.
Let's be honest,
But
that Peppers album is not getting off that record player
Yeah.
until the next Peppers album. so-
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's been on. It's been steady
It's
rotation.
been on a lot.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was reading this thing.
They're everywhere right now, by the
They're
way, and I'm
everywhere,
fucking about. I'm
yeah.
about it. John
Totally.
Frusciante, come on, yeah, oh my god,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's
John
dope.
Frusciante, I was reading this interview where he was saying, so they recorded like fucking 50 songs, and then obviously narrowed it down. But he was saying a lot of the songs that they didn't put on this album, they've kind of like grouped together for like whatever album is gonna follow this. And like
Sick.
Anthony said that he's like, yeah, like we have a lot that's like ready to go. Like, don't be surprised if there's another new album really soon.
That's how excited she gets about the Pepper. It's fucking this malfunction. Just I'm just gonna
Her brain
freeze.
just shut down,
Yeah.
thinking of like another Red Hot Chili Peppers release date.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, yeah.
Honestly, if we could have another day though, just like as a music fan, watching you like going to the record store with you that day, picking the fucking thing up, listening to, you know what I mean. There's nothing better than that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it.
Isn't it dope that we still get that feeling of like you could still like wow, like you know that's like when we were kid shit when like AT Aliens came
Hell
out.
yeah,
and
dude.
we were like, I gotta
Yeah.
go to HMV to fucking grab this
And
fucking.
it's so
100%.
cool that like vinyl is a thing again.
Yeah,
and
for
there are
sure.
so
And
many
good
fucking-
vinyl, like,
yeah.
Oh my
they're
god!
producing
Quick
great,
shout out
yeah.
to
Like they're making
Highlight.
vinyl
Yeah.
specifically.
Huge shout out to High Life Records on Commercial Drive. It's been there for like 35 years, and I've been going to every goddamn record store. But I don't know why I've just walked by this fucking place. But I went there, and they had some of smaller store, not the hugest selection, but everything I wanted at a fucking very reasonable price. They have an album there that I picked up yesterday for $20, Bouncing Souls and Anti-Flag split record. And it's impossible to find. I've tried to download it a million fucking times, and I've just never fucking heard of it. And they each cover one of their songs on each side, and at the
Oh,
end, Anti-Flag
sick.
fucking does the Buzzcocks Fallen in Love. Ever fall in love
Oh,
with me? It's
singles
fucking
going steady.
amazing, man.
Right, yeah,
It's
hell yeah.
yes, yeah. It one of the like coolest experiences ever. And that was just like that was just yesterday.
Yeah,
Came home,
there's
picked
so
that up,
many-
and you know like that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, be a fucking kid and like some shit.
So many
Yeah.
fucking record stores in Vancouver too. Like
Mhm.
even just walking down Commercial.
For sure, every one of them kind of has like one thing that they do really well.
Totally.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah.
cool funk ones,
Yeah.
there's cool punk ones, cool hip hop. But yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dope.
Absolutely. There's a 45 selection in Neptune Records. It's just the most fun thing. I don't want to go through it like all in hours because every time I go in there, I'm just like, I'll go to like one, stack or whatever and try to find something that I've never seen before or whatever. And you can still take a chance on something, right?
For
Go
sure.
to the 45 section, take a chance at a $6 fucking record, and you will
Yeah.
find the wall rides.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Fucking stoked. This is a great first
This is
step in the new,
awesome.
the new
Yeah, I'm so
setup.
So much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much, dude.
Hell
This is
yeah,
fucking
I'm amped. This is gonna be
awesome.
dope.
Best.
Yeah,
Hell
yeah. And
Flashers until next week.
yeah.
Peace.
Peace.